We would like to find the image of the fourth quadrant under the mapping f of z equals z squared. So the fourth quadrant is the set of complex numbers that have a positive real part and a negative imaginary part. And here we have strict inequality. X is strictly greater than 0 and y is strictly less than 0. So in this set, we are not considering the positive real axis or the negative imaginary axis to be part of the fourth quadrant. So let me put dashed lines here to indicate that those lines are not part of the set. Okay, so our mapping is f of z equals z squared, and the effect of this mapping is to double the argument of a given complex number and square the modulus. So in the fourth quadrant, we have complex numbers whose modulus ranges from very tiny to huge. So in quadrant 4, our modulus is going to be between 0 and infinity. Squaring these moduli are going to also land us between 0 and infinity. Now, as for the argument, if z is in the fourth quadrant, then that means that the argument of z, or an argument of z, is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi. And because these are strict inequalities here, so are these. That means that z squared, if we look at the argument of z squared, it's going to double. So the argument of z squared is going to be between 3 pi and 4 pi. So where does that put us? An argument of 3 pi, so we have 2 pi is all the way around plus pi. So this is an argument of 3 pi, and an argument of 4 pi would take us all the way around twice. So our argument has to be at least 3 pi and less than 4 pi, so that's going to put the complex number down here somewhere in the lower half plane. So combining the two pieces of information, the point is in the lower half plane, and the modulus can be anywhere from 0 to infinity, tells us that the image is going to be all of the lower half plane. So if we start with the fourth quadrant here, and we do f of z equals z squared, then the image is going to be the fourth quadrant. The lower half plane. Lower half plane. The image of the fourth quadrant is the lower half plane. Let's just look at this in a little bit more detail. If we take the boundary points of the fourth quadrant, then they should map to the boundary points of the image. So one boundary point is 0, and squaring 0 lands us at 0. And how about a positive real number like 1? That will land us at 1. And other real numbers like 2 will land us at 4. And all of the positive real numbers will land us on the positive real axis. And then the numbers on the negative imaginary axis, like negative I and negative 2i, if we square those, then negative I squared is the same as I squared, which is negative 1. So that lands us here. Negative 2i similarly will land us at negative 4 when we square that. And so we see that the boundary lines, the positive real axis and the negative imaginary axis, are landing us on these boundary rays, really. The first ray is the positive real axis, and the second ray is the negative real axis. Okay, so again, the image of quadrant 4 is the lower half plane.